where shadows dance and secrets stir, lies a realm unseen, a world of shared experiences, unexplained phenomena, and the chilling echoes of what lies just beyond our perception. Join us as we peer into the unknown and confront the mysteries that linger in the dark corners of our reality. This is Shared Paranormal Through the Veil, with your host, David Wells.
Welcome, everyone. Glad you could make it. We are going to introduce our special guests who are already on the stage. Paranormal Gurlz and Tim joining us for our second round of Pere Cheney recap info because they were very enthralled in what was going on with the investigation, so we thought we'd share with you as well. We also have Keely from my team. We have Lily from my team. We have Colleen, who is on our team now, and who am I forgetting?
I think that's everybody. You got Brenda. You got
Brenda and Tim. Glad you can make it.
Thank you.
Thanks. So we did add a couple new members who may or may not make it tonight. We could do a quick introduction. We'll go from here. I think I want to start with, I don't know if you guys have seen the video of when we arrived at Pere Cheney. It was in one of my reels. One of the legends of Pere Cheney is if you stop at the cemetery and visit some people there, you'll get little handprints on your car. Well, we were driving past the cemetery trying to find a campsite, and we actually, when we stopped, we had handprints all over the passenger side of the car, which was pretty amazing. Like I said, it is on a reel on my page, so that was the first encounter. We kind of had a welcoming committee, but yeah, that was fascinating.
I saw that video. It was pretty cool.
and he had just washed the car that morning too. So, and he tried to recreate the handprints as well.
Yeah, there was no recreating it. It's like I smashed my hand in the dirt and against the car, and all the dirt just fell off. So I couldn't recreate it at all. So,
that's cool.
Very normal. We just had so many experiences. I'm still going over the evidence. I still got photos and video to post. But did you guys have any questions about what you had heard, Tim or Brenda, that we can cover?
From Pere Cheney? Oh, my Lord. That was a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about that.
Yeah.
It's a blur.
It is. Because we've done so much since then. Go ahead, Tim, if you got any.
Oh, thanks a lot. The handprints on the car to me are pretty fascinating because you couldn't even recreate how it happened. I mean, were they just like a dirty handprint? Was they stuck on? I mean, kind of explain. I haven't seen your videos, so kind of explain.
Yeah, they were dirt, but they were definitely made by small hands.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to reach about halfway up the car. They even had swirls and stuff in them, like regular fingerprints. So
okay. So why do you think children are there? Why do you think the children still hang around out there?
I think Linda could answer to this. But there's so many children that lost their lives during the plague that went through Pere Cheney, and from the fires.
Okay.
I think they just there's a lot of children's spirits there. Lily, what do you think?
Yeah, there was a lot of them that died from diphtheria, and any that were left, when the fires happened, they were thrown into buildings like the school and stuff, and it was set on fire. So a lot of people died from that as well.
I see. Well, that's pretty bad circumstances going on there. sound like a lot of emotion, a lot of controversy, you know, death and stuff going on in those areas out where they are. So your event is actually outside for 3 days. Am I correct on that?
We broke camp actually because of something we couldn't identify in the woods. So we all went to a hotel. There was no
Really?
camping. Yeah,
Oh,
we were at the cemetery, and I saw something in the tree line that I thought was probably a cryptid, medium red thing. So it was elemental, and I
okay.
believe it followed us to the campground. And I saw it in the woods, and I was holding my light in the woods, and it just stood there and stared at us. And the girls were like, "Well, we're gonna pack our tents up and go." So
Wow. Wow. That's cool because I want to go dogman hunting and Bigfoot hunting. So yeah, that's something I want to do. Is I want to look for cryptid. I think got Brenda almost talked into doing it. Almost, I think. She's pretty close.
I'll go hunt for Dogman.
She's like, not the cryptid so much.
I'll go hunt for Dogman. Let's just start there. And then we'll see.
Okay. Well, that's fair enough. At least we'll go do dogman hunting anyway, so far as that goes. So are there a lot of cryptids out there in that area that are reported? And if there are, what kind is there?
I don't think there's a lot that's been reported. Lily, do you know of any instances of actually people saying cryptids are out there?
I don't know about at Pere Cheney. I have had issues with, I don't know if they're mimics. I don't know if they're skinwalkers. Dogman's been seen around here before. I don't know if anything's been seen in Pere Cheney though.
Okay. All
I was
right.
gonna say, or do you think there are elementals?
Yeah, I think it's land and water elementals. And ironically, was it Maddie that was doing a tarot card reading? And
Yes.
she pulled water, fire. Would she pull air, water, fire, and land? Was that it?
I think one was wind or hurricane or something like that. One was,
Okay.
Yeah, there was wind and hurricane. There was water. The first thing that fell out was tobacco, though, and you had told us prior to spread tobacco in each corner of the campsite.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
As an offering. So yeah. And then all of a sudden, I told him, I go, they're elementals. And I did this all remotely. I wasn't there. So I was doing it. I told him that there was definitely land and water elementals there. And then ironically, right after that, Maddie did the tarot card reading and automatically was pulled up with elementals. So it kind of confirmed what I was getting remotely, which was great.
Oh, cool.
That's what I was just going to ask, if there's been any offerings that have been done out there.
when we go back, we're definitely going to. It almost seemed like the one that was in the woods watching us was waiting us to light the campfire because I had gotten it ready, but I hadn't lit the campfire yet. So I just got a feeling that they were going to try to see the fire, but I don't know.
There is a gentleman in the cemetery that has self-appointed himself like a mayor. A lot of cemeteries have that, where either they're appointed or self-appointed mayors to kind of help protect the cemetery and protect the spirits that are there. And I pulled up that there was a mayor there, and he was very upset, and he was pacing back and forth in the cemetery. And I told David to go talk to him because I didn't know, but David told me after the fact that there's a lot of vandalism that occurs there, or things, people going in there ransacking and not necessarily being as respectful as they should be. So I know David was going to go talk to him and just let him know and assure him that they were totally different in this particular instance, and they did have the respect that they needed to have, and that there would be no fear of him doing something to upset them. So that was really good.
I put a static camera on the stump that supposedly was the witch was buried under, the legendary witch, and it switched from video to photo by itself after 1 minute and 13 seconds.
Wow.
Nobody was around it. I went back to get it to review the footage, and it had switched to photo. So
she did not want to be videotaped at all.
Wow, that's really interesting. So I'm going to ask a question here. I'm not familiar. So explain to me a little bit more in detail about, is that the mayor of, is he claiming he's mayor of the cemetery, or is he mayor of the town?
No, mayor of the cemetery.
Okay.
Oftentimes when you go to cemeteries, hence the medium. By the way, Brenda and Tim, I interviewed you guys on Within the Cauldron with Chrissy.
Yeah,
I don't know if you recognize me or not, but
yeah.
Oftentimes in cemeteries, I've run across this, and I've talked to other mediums and they've encountered it as well. Typically, it's either somebody that self-appoints themselves as, and it's usually in cemeteries that are much older, like a Pere Cheney cemetery in this particular instance. They will self-appoint somebody. Either they'll self-appoint themselves, or they'll have the community of spirits will appoint somebody they feel will be the protector of the cemetery. And it's up to that gentleman to try to scare you off, or, give you evidence basically to get you to leave, essentially, and leave the spirits alone. In this particular case, this gentleman was very upset because of the things that did occur in the cemetery prior to David being there. And that's why he was pacing back and forth. He actually literally saw him drive in and instantly kicked in. And I told David, that was what, Thursday or Friday you guys arrived?
Yeah,
it was Friday. And that's when I told him, I said, you're going to have to go talk to him. He's upset because he feels like this is going to be a party, or, vandalization, or people taking things from there. So just, assure him that everything's fine. And he did, and everything went fine.
Oh,
we did do an SD session out there as well. I did a little bit, and Lily did a little bit.
okay.
I kind of have a different method. I just, whatever I think I hear, I just blurt it out and it'll make sense of it, But Lily got some interesting responses when she was doing her SD session out there. And she'd been there several times before, so I think we know her a lot better than anybody else. But what did you get in response about the war guy, the German guy or something?
Yeah, the guy from, I believe he's from Berlin. He said last to death, and then it said Berlin. I also caught a man's laughter. It was just kind of like a quick, ha, just kind of like that. It's really interesting.
Okay.
Hey, Tim, I don't know if you know this or not, but isn't that like a battle cry? Like last to death? Like,
there is a battle cry. So where is this cemetery located again? What state?
Michigan. Pere Cheney.
Michigan.
Yeah.
So Michigan was really big in the Civil War. They had a lot of battalions in the Civil War. So that's very possible that tradition is carried through. Yes. Yes.
I was thinking about that. That sounds almost like a battle cry the way it came across. Like last to die, let's go,
Yeah, that's very possible. So I mean, the mayor might have been a Civil War soldier at one time. That's possible. Yep.
Could have been too. Yeah, absolutely.
And while we were doing the SD session, I saw something in a tree line that looked humanoid, kind of a normal sized person. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to let anybody mess with us. So I headed that towards the tree line. And the closer I got to the tree line, I'm not going to lie, the more anxiety I got about finding out who it was. So I got closer to the tree line, and I'm like, I'm going to turn around. I don't really need to know who that is, because they had this grayish silver color to them. And that's what I thought was kind of odd. When we got back to the camp, the same color of what was in the woods was that same color. So they could have followed us, but I was like, I don't want to know, because the girls were like, where's he going? He just took off. I just took off here. I was like,
wow. I wonder if putting the tobacco out somehow influenced what was in there. You know what I mean? An elemental, or possibly a Native American spirit, by putting the tobacco out to appease.
Yeah.
I don't know. Possibility. That's cool. That's cool. Man, I might have to go there now, because I want to help find it. Out there, I want to look for it. So.
Yeah, my goal is to find the mass grave that I believe is there.
Yeah.
Because that many people died, and there's only about 90 active graves in the cemetery, and 1,500 died. So,
gotcha.
They got to be somewhere.
I understand. Cool.
Okay. And they're off to the side too. I mean, they're not in the cemetery proper. It's away from the cemetery quite a bit, because not knowing diphtheria, not knowing this, they really didn't want anybody to be affected or infected. So it's a
Sure.
mass grave. And I'm trying to remember what I said to you, David. Do you remember the size? I told you it was quite large, but that they literally like were very respectful as they laid them out. And then it's almost like as if it was like a sheet that went over them and then a layer of dirt and then more bodies on top. So they were just stacking them as high as they could and then mounding it over. And in this case, through the years, it's flattened out a little bit, but there should still be somewhat of a little mound.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm thinking, I don't know, like 9 feet by 10, something like that is the size that I saw. So I'm just as curious as David and the rest of them to go back and see if we can find that mass grave.
I want to do that, and I also want to do some EDP work where the schoolhouse used to be. The ruins from that. We did find some foundations. We found a foundation from the old hotel. We found a well, a cistern, in the middle of the woods where you would not think it would be. So, yeah, the woods is growing up quite a bit over where the original settlement was.
Oh, God.
Speaking about the original settlement, there is one cabin that was left, and we had the opportunity to investigate that. And that is the point where we asked Colleen to do a remote SD session with us. And it was phenomenal. She was spot on. She got everything that we were going through. She doesn't remember a lot of the questions that were asked, but
Oh, I don't know any of the questions.
I think Lily is still with us.
Yeah.
You're back.
Yeah. There she
So
is.
you had most of the SD session with her. Could you walk us through a little bit about the questions and what you heard? And I know when we got there, the outside door opened to the cabin, and then it closed, and then the stairway door opened upstairs. And me, Maddie, and Lily were standing there, and we said, "Are you the one that opened the door?" And we got immediate response, "I did." So that was kind of cool. But Lily, if you want to touch upon some of the things that the questions that were answered and what you heard during your long distance SD session.
One of the more vivid things that I remember that happened was any time that we would talk about the witch or we would talk about the sickness, one of the spirits would be like, "We don't talk about that. We don't want to talk about that." Like, just shut it down immediately.
Okay. When you do this SD session remotely, how do you do it? How do you transmit? Do you do it by your phone? Do you do it by live? I mean, how do you do that? Because I'm curious, because we have a lot of team members sometimes that don't get to do it with us, and maybe that'd be a good idea to try to get them to do that and see what happens. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
I've done remote sessions before, but within my state and within within my own state. And I've done it also where I've been within the building, but somebody is asking the questions outside the building. So
Okay.
it's very, very interesting to do that. We did audio. There was no video whatsoever. We couldn't get Facebook Live, couldn't do anything like that. So we did it by audio, basically. And what I do is I use the Spirit Box noise canceling headphones, and I blindfold myself. So I can't see anything. In fact, I had my husband sitting next to me so that he could tap on my shoulder to let me know when they were done, because there was no way for me to know when they were going to be done asking questions.
Okay.
So it was quite interesting. My husband was blown away. I told David, I said, he really doesn't go on investigations with me. So he really doesn't, he's never really seen this particular technique in action per se, or even hear the questions. So he was pretty blown away. Like, wow, that's crazy. I can't believe that you were answering them spot on. And I'm like, well, what were they asking? He's like, I don't know. I can't even begin to remember. He goes, I'm just in shock.
Wow.
Yeah, one of the odd things, I was just in a hospital like a few weeks before we took this trip, and she got a response that said my name and hurt and hospital.
Wow.
So the spirits in the cabin knew that I had just gotten out of hospital.
That's pretty cool.
That's the way I see it.
That's how I interpret it too. I interpret it the same way. When you told me that, I'm like, I'd probably interpret it the same way.
And one of the weirdest things that happened to me, we were parked on the side of the road, so there were cars slowing down and stuff. I want to make sure nobody was trying to mess with my car. So I went outside of the cabin. As soon as I stepped into the night, I had no idea where I was. My brain completely went blank. It was actually nerve-wracking. If you've ever been truly lost,
Mm-hmm.
and you get that anxiety, it's like, I don't know where I'm at. Where am I? I had no idea. And finally, after a few seconds, I could see the house. The farmhouse is way away from where the cabin was. So I could see the house. I could see the car. I'm like, oh, okay, I know where I'm at now. Well, I went back in the cabin, and the cabin floor was a little uneven because it's been sitting there for decades and decades. But I was walking across the cabin floor, and all of a sudden, I couldn't maneuver. I was like kind of wobbly, and the girls are like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay." And it just something that's never happened to me before. But if I had to guess, I'd say that it almost felt like I was going back in time.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Or
Wow.
if that's the feeling that you get, I don't know, but I know I was disoriented and nothing like that's ever happened before. I mean, it's dark out there. Obviously, there's no city around, so you step in the night, it's pitch black. But that's not what disoriented me. For a minute, I had no idea where I was. And my theory is that I don't think the spirits that live in that cabin leave that cabin very often. I think they're kind of stuck there because they moved it from downtown where the original settlement was. And I think they just hang out in there all the time, waiting to talk to people.
I got you. Their energy affected you at
Yeah.
that point. Yeah,
Correct. Yeah.
that could very well happen. Yeah,
Lily,
very
did you-
true. Well, go ahead.
Lily, did you say like during the Estes session that I did with you that I said you told me that I said don't touch that or something?
Yeah.
Was that in the cat? Was that it? And you were tell him again what that was because I don't remember.
We had a bell that we were allowing the spirits to touch to communicate with us, and we put it in the kitchen, and it was almost like a little kid was playing with the bell, and like an adult spirit was telling, no, don't touch that.
Okay.
That was it. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Definitely going to have to make a trip out there now. We got cryptids and little kids.
Well, that's not all. There's more.
Well, tell me more. Don't give it out.
So the museum at the Crawford County Historical Society, where Lily volunteers, she's also on the board. We did an investigation there all over the building. And as soon as I started, there's also a reel on Shared Paranormal's Facebook page about that. Several of them, actually, where I went live. But the two things that stand out to me, her and Maddie did an SD session right next to the Pere Cheney artifact area upstairs.
Okay.
And well, before we even got started downstairs, when I started recording, the bell was going off and the cat ball was lighting up. And Lily said that it was probably Sarah, the young girl who hangs out there. And she said she could feel something hugging her leg.
Okay.
Little girl, 6 years old or so, I think. But
Wow.
so Lily, go over a little bit about your SD session with Maddie. I know that there's some things that kind of rattled your cage a little bit.
There was a spirit. There was a couple spirits that I kept hearing, and one of them kept saying like Sarah, like I'm Sarah, and then there was a male voice that was kind of like mumbling over hers, and I couldn't quite like hear anything other than like a whisper of like Sarah, I'm Sarah, and then all of a sudden like I just got this thought in my head like he said the male spirit said she's mine, so I don't know what that means, but
Okay.
I'd like to figure it out.
Wow.
I don't know if she's being overbearing or protective. I don't know which. But
Sure enough. Sure enough. Wow. Sounds like a very active place. Very, very active. So, Brenda, you got any questions yet?
I do. I found the podcast, so now
Okay.
I have his comments. You said you spoke to a spirit animal.
Yes, we were going to get to that.
Okay.
So there's a display of Fred Bears, who I guess he was a big game hunter and a bow maker from Michigan. He had a business that made compound bows. And there's a display of his taxidermy behind these rails that you can stand there and look at. And we had our EMF reader on the right side and the death bell on the left side. And we were like, make the EMF go off for no and the bell for yes. Well, Maddie was asking all these questions, and she started drifting into an odd territory because she's like, are you a person? And EMF went off. And she said, are you an animal? Ding, the bell goes off. And we're like, what? And then she's like, are you an animal in this room? And I'm like, just for fun, I'm like, are you the beaver over there in the corner? And they said, no. You know, the EMF went off, no. And she said, are you in this room? And then it went off, the bell went off. And she said, I think she said, are you the cat that's in the box? Because there was a glass case with this lynx in it. And the whole time, the bottom of the bell was like getting touched, but it's like a thud, thud, thud. It wasn't ringing. And I was like, okay, you know, don't be shy. Ring that bell, hit that plunger. Well, our theory is the cat couldn't reach it with its energy enough to ring the bell only so often. So she asked, she goes, are you the cat that's in the glass case? Ding, the bell goes off. And we're just like, no way, no way. So she asked a bunch of other qualifying questions, and come to find out that, yeah, we were having a discussion with the lynx in a glass box.
That's
Wow.
crazy. That's crazy.
Now we got
And
like
it happens. It's wild.
Lily, is there any information on that cat?
That's what everybody
I don't know anything other than the fact that the president had an encounter with it. Her and another board member were downstairs, and it sounded like a cat going wild upstairs, like just howling and like nails on the floorboards, just running amok upstairs. That's all I know about it, though.
Interesting.
I got that whole interaction on video. I just had to edit it down because it was like 57 minutes or something video. And then I left the static camera there on the end of the hallway, and I picked up some footsteps that I'll have to
I did watch a lot of those videos you posted. Those were actually pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much going on. It's like amazing. I think my favorite part was traipsing through the woods and finding things that were from a long time ago, foundations and stuff.
Walls, rocks for walls, and yeah.
Yeah, we came across this completely roundish white rock, and Colleen, you said it was a marker of some kind, maybe? Or?
Well, I felt like it was they were using them for like low walls to divide the pathways back there, and of course broken down, and of course wet and mossy in color.
Yeah, we found another one. Was that in the cemetery, Lily? We found the other one just like it. Where did we find that other one at?
Lily,
You remember?
do you remember where you found the other rock, the white rock?
It was in a campfire that somebody had made. I believe it was made by Tommy and his crew. It was a clearing that they'd.
okay.
Yeah, because we were able to drive back there quite a ways. It was some rough terrain, though, that's for sure. But it was worth it.
Cool.
Anything else we should add?
Yeah.
Katie, did you have any questions?
I'm sorry, were you talking to me?
Yes, did you have any questions?
Yes, actually, I did. Is leaving offerings, you said, read that you left offerings, you left the tobacco. Is that a common practice? Do people often leave offerings when, and what
Yes,
is,
it's a Native American
Correct.
thing, especially with like sage. If you leave sage or if you leave tobacco, it's a big thing, especially for Native Americans. Anytime I go to a cemetery or anywhere where I know there was native grounds, I like to bring tobacco or sage with me so I can leave them an offering.
Yep, that's absolutely correct. And also when you're dealing with the elementals too, it helps with the elementals, calms them down.
Okay.
The sage and tobacco, or just the tobacco for
In
limit?
this case, it was tobacco. Yeah. It was more of a universal for the Native Americans as well as for the elementals.
It can be
It's
liquor
offering
too.
them. What's that?
Yeah.
Yes, a small bottle of liquor too.
Yeah, liquor can help too. That helps. I bring that out to cemeteries quite a bit. There's always somebody in the cemetery that's jonesing for some, including myself sometimes. Depends on it. No.
You're talking about the dead, right? Not
Yeah,
living.
yeah. Right, Tim. Yeah.
Right, right, right.
So a little for you, a little for me, a little for you.
Yeah, exactly. 2 for me, 1 for you.
Right. I was gonna say a little for you, a lot for me.
Yeah, exactly. See,
Yeah,
Brenda, you're
yeah.
on the right page.
Mm.
Did you have any more questions, Keely?
What's that?
I was asking Keely if she had any more questions.
Oh,
Keely?
what would you say, like, what was the most interesting of all of the, like, spirits and or, all of the spirits you encountered? What would you say was the most interesting? What did you get the most interaction from? What do you think you learned the most from? So,
Good question.
Was it Sarah?
Most interesting to me was the links. I mean, you just don't see that every day.
I would have to say the mayor would be mine because he was very emphatic
Yes.
that there would be no harm to the cemetery. I mean, it was wild. That's what I would say for me. What about you, Lily?
I think the mayor was definitely one of them as well because like he made himself known to me and Maddie, and before Maddie had even asked if it was the mayor, I had kind of already known it was him because in my head for some reason I'd heard like it's me, like hey it's me. I thought the guy in the cabin was also interesting because he really wanted to be known.
okay.
Yeah, he was very controlling. That's the feeling that I got. He was controlling his wife or maybe daughter. I don't know, but
Right.
I think there was a male and a female spirit in the cabin. And like I said, I don't think they get out very much. I think they just hang out in there.
Mm.
When Tommy Tombstone's group went in there, they were being talked to about dinner time. Dinner time, and that was late, like 11:30 at night. But, they got an EVP about somebody who was making dinner, so we kind of asked a couple questions that like are you making dinner? What are you making? Didn't get too many responses on that. It's definitely a lot more to explore. We haven't explored. We definitely have to go back.
For sure, for sure.
And next time maybe I can
So that
come
being said,
physical.
it's going to be your best. I can't hardly hear everybody. Everybody say something.
What's that?
Oh, volume is
What's
really
wrong?
low. Hold on a second.
Lost your volume.
Did you lose volume, David?
Yeah, I don't know why. Okay, I'll hear you guys now. So, the next investigation / event for us is coming up September 11th and 12th. We will be spending the weekend at Henry Ford Bungalow up in Lake Superior.
Okay.
2 nights, 3 investigations scheduled for the 2 days that we're there. These don't have final approval, but are 99% that they're going to be the Calumet Theater, which is notoriously haunted. Also, there's a copper mine that's not far from there that I want to explore. And there's a ruins of an old nursing home that has a brand new one built across the street. And the nurses that work there were pretty much begging me to do an investigation because they had all kinds of things going on when they worked in that old building. So those are the investigations that got scheduled. There's only room for 16 people. So hopefully, I don't know how your schedules are going to be, but hopefully you guys can attend.
Yeah, September what?
11th and 12th.
I know we're gonna try to come out for sure.
Yeah, Keely's going. Lily, are you going? You're going?
I would like to try to. I gotta figure out how to get a ticket though.
I'm coming. And I guess Chris and Chrissy are coming too.
If you have to wait till the last minute and I'm picking you up, then that's fine too.
What's that?
If she has to wait till the last minute, I can pick her up.
Oh, yeah.
David, would I be able to send you like a money order or something?
Yeah, you can do that probably. Or download Venmo. Do it that way. It's pretty safe.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So, anything else, Julie or Brenda, right at the moment?
Her
No.
name is Keely.
Julie, sorry. I'm not here very well. I have a couple of questions on this. Go back to this where you investigated. You say you're finding more buildings. Is it a big community? Was it a big town or is it a big village? I mean, is that why you're finding more areas of structures out there in the woods?
There were 2 sawmills, one on either side of the tracks. And I think maybe 8 to 12 cabins, not huge, but there was a hotel, there was a restaurant, there was a saloon, a bar, whatever. So there was a lot of business. There was a grocery store and all that. It was a stop on the rail line, so they stopped there every day, a couple times a day. Had its own post office, the whole thing. It was the county seat for a while.
Okay.
So, yeah. So all these foundations that we found were remnants of what used to be there.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, if that was a pretty big community, because that disease pretty much wiped it out, it sounds like. So
It
that
did.
goes. Yeah, I mean, by the sounds of it, it was a pretty bad deal.
And what they did themselves, like Lily said, you know.
Sure. Well, yeah, it's interesting. You think there's a mass grave out there because I know they didn't know much about diseases in the day, but think about the people that are handling putting them in the ground. I mean, they're going back to the village. I mean, they're headed back to town. I mean, we didn't have our masks and our rubber gloves, you know. I'm saying we just wrapped them in a cloth and carried them out and dumped them in the ground. I mean, think about that.
Right.
That just spread even more.
They told this poor guy, hey, take this wagon out and dump him in the grave and don't come back.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, and then to the point of that too, David, you were saying like the lore, and Lily, you can talk about that too. The lore is that the witch, there was a woman that was a healer of the village, basically, and she, you know, I picked up on her instantly, and she wasn't a witch. She was just an herbalist, just somebody that had healing powers through herbs and things like that.
Yeah.
But because would she lose her child, and then right after that the diphtheria hit, so they thought that she had cursed the village, so they hung her.
Wow.
So that tells you the mentality of what they were thinking back then. You know, when this diphtheria came through, they weren't thinking of it as a natural born disease or something, a virus that was coming through their village. It was brought on by this witch who had, you know, was mad because her daughter died, and they thought that she had cursed the village. So
they didn't know much. Yeah, they didn't know much about medicine and disease. So, and there was a lot of skepticism, and people, I mean, religion played a part, and then there's the fear of what's actually happening because you don't understand. So it
Correct.
ramps up like that. It
It
really
was
ramps up.
probably somebody who got off the train wanting to buy a pack of gum, and they infected the whole town and got back on the train.
More than likely.
Yeah,
More than
something like
likely
that.
what happened. Correct. We know that today for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, as far as that goes. So I have a question. You know, and I don't have a lot of abilities like a lot of people. If I'm out investigating the woods, I'm out walking around because we were at Indiana State and we went, one of our teammates, Tanya and I went back in the woods because she felt drawn back there and we found a lady. We found out that a lady had fallen down a hill. She'd been beaten up and she was dying. And Tanya connected with her back in the woods. How would I know, being that, if there's an elemental around? How would I mean, I'm going to see a cryptid, obviously, but how, is there any sign for me to tell there's an elemental in the area or close to me?
Yeah, they're mischievous. They'll also be mimicking you. There's a lot of mimicking going on. You might hear, for instance, Brenda might hear you calling for her in your voice, and you're nowhere to be found, or you're on the other side of the property. That's elemental work. Elementals are charged by land. They're charged by land. They're charged by water. This one happens to be, I believe, very heavily into land and the water because of the water that's running through Pere Cheney underneath, and also where the cistern is. And they want the natural flow of things to continue to go on, and they don't want that to be disrupted. And oftentimes if they feel like there's a threat, then they'll come forth and then they try to confuse you. They'll change things around. I almost wonder if to a certain extent it was something that what David experienced when he walked out of the cabin was a disorientation, because that's something elementals will do as well. And there's still a lot for me to learn about them. Michelle Bellinger is a elemental expert, and I've actually reached out to her to find out when more of her classes are coming through, because I want to learn more about them as well.
Okay, well, that'd be, so if you got that information, you send it to me and Brenda, because I'd like to know myself, because
Absolutely.
I sense like something's up near me, or I hear like a footstep or a noise, and I turn around to look, but I really don't see it. But then it's all around me, so I'm trying to spin a 360 looking for something. That does happen to me when I'm in the woods, so I'm curious to know if that's part of it. So yeah, I'd like to learn more as well.
Absolutely.
That's a good thing.
That's what alerted me at the campsite. I heard 2 footsteps, and then I looked and standing between 2 trees was something, but they didn't advance any further after I got my light on. I was moving in the tree line, but they just stood right there and watched us break camp. So,
and they typically don't have a fear. They're not human.
Okay.
It's energy. It's energy of the land. It's energy of the water. It's energy of fire, air. They're not scared of you. So that's why I went straight to the elementals, because when David said he started walking towards it and it stood its ground and it didn't move, to me, that's not a cryptid, because cryptid would move. It's not, and it's not a spirit, because a spirit would move too, because spirits are quite, they can be scared of us as much as we're scared of them. So
but the elemental, then what David saw, is it projecting this picture to him because of a fear that he has, or just wants to show itself as being dominant? Can it do that?
Being more dominant. Correct. Yes, they can do that. And that's why I said they're not scared of him. When he started walking up and it stood its ground, it's of the land, it's not going to move. So it's going to influence him, and it did influence him. He started having a little anxiety, and he thought, I don't know, I don't need to know this. And that's when he walked away.
Gotcha. So I guess my question was, what David saw, is that what the elemental is projecting to him or is it a distortion of his thought? I guess is
what the elemental is showing him.
Okay. That's what I was curious.
So the other one that we saw, and I think all the girls saw this as well, because I was like very tall, long legs, long arms. And I don't know if the theory is that they operate in a different frequency than we do.
Correct.
They can jump in and out of frequency, so we can't see them.
Okay.
This one was running along the tree line, and then all of a sudden it just dissipated into nothing. It was gone.
Wow. So it's on. Got it. That's interesting to learn. It's like a spirit. Okay. It's using like you said, it's using pure energy to create what it wants to do. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Correct.
All right.
Correct.
Well, I'll keep a closer eye out next time I'm out in the woods by myself. So
No kidding.
I'll be looking for the dog man first. But anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, and the way that David described it, how it just kind of dissipates, that's kind of what it think about, like energy just
Okay.
basically just kind of trickling away, and that's essentially what they do.
Okay.
But they'll project themselves to be tall. They'll project themselves to, if they feel like you're imposing or going to take the land or do something to harm the land, they'll definitely, they can project themselves to be quite large. It's to intimidate the human.
Can they do anything physically?
Not so much. No, it's just
Okay.
a threat.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know.
So you're talking about, the 360 degrees, that you felt like you had something around you. That would be, I would classify that as definitely more elemental. And it could have been it could be an air elemental too,
Okay. Oh, gotcha. Because I was literally trying to spin around to see, because I felt like it was something I couldn't look fast enough in the direction to see what I was trying to look at. That's how I felt.
Right.
So, okay. Wow. I'll be more aware now.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, and I just learned about the dog man on Chrissy and Chris's podcast, talking to Chris, and I can't remember who else it was, but, definitely learned about that. So, I mean, this world, this industry that we work in is so fascinating and so cool.
Correct. Then you got the cryptid side to it. Then you got the paranormal side to it. So you have both. So it falls into place. Yep. See,
Exactly.
now you need to put me in a truck, because let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
Brenda's like, okay, let's go.
Let me pack a bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a Dog Man episode here a couple weeks ago as well.
Yep.
Well, and aren't you guys out of Ohio?
No, we're in Iowa.
Oh, you're in Iowa. Okay, because we were talking to somebody, and they were talking about Ohio has quite a bit of, and even David was doing research, and he was like, "Oh my God, that's crazy."
Yep.
Yeah.
They have a lot of sightings in Ohio. The dog man.
They do.
Yeah.
That was wasn't that White Sage?
Yeah, White Sage Academy. Yeah, correct.
Oh.
So, yeah, the thrilling aspect of what's coming up is we get to collaborate with you guys. Hopefully, definitely.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
We do have 2 more team members named Jen and Darren. So the team is growing. Hopefully not too fast, but
Okay.
at this pace. So,
Brenda, you got anything else? Because I could talk all night about cryptid. So I'm good.
I don't, and there isn't any other things from the podcast that hasn't already been talked about. So
Okay.
Well, that's good. That's what we're about. So, yeah. Awesome.
Sorry it took so long to get here, but we made it.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's absolutely fine.
I called off work today. I'm like, I'm not missing this for nothing. Forget it. I'll be there.
Gotcha.
We're doing this one.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, thanks for coming, everybody.
Yep.
Look for more info on what's coming up, and I definitely want to do another podcast with everybody on the team.
Sure.
To show off the new members and talk, kind of dig a little deeper with them and see. But tickets are almost gone for September 11th and 12th. So I think I got 5 left out of 16. So think about it. We'd love to have you guys.
Okay.
An amazing weekend. Lots of good investigations. A lot of good camaraderie. Yeah, a lot of para-unity going on. So,
yeah, true.
All right, guys. Thanks. Have a good night. Talk to you soon.
Thanks so much for having
See you later. Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye, Kaylee. Bye, Lily. See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.